Welcome to Conversations for a Better You. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell to stay inspired and keep growing with us.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be looking at the power of the mundane. So kind of like everyday stuff that you might not think has a big impact on your life.
Yeah, the small things that we overlook all the time, the nitty-gritty details.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we are going to be using a conversation between Joe Rogan and Dr. Jordan Peterson. Now, you guys know you're efficient and you love those clear takeaways. So we're going to get you set up right away with some simple and profound insights on how to just make the most of every day.
Yeah, we're going to discover the hidden potential in the ordinary, the things we just take for granted.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. I think one of the things that really got me thinking in this conversation was Peterson's idea of retirement. You know that fantasy we all have of just kicking back on a beach somewhere, sipping on cocktails, and finally relaxing after all those years of hard work.
Yeah, the classic golden years, right? Just escaping responsibility and relaxing.
Yeah. Exactly. But Peterson throws a total wrench in that whole idea. He says that kind of passive relaxation, it wouldn't actually be fulfilling in the long run.
He makes a great point. Imagine you're on that beach, third margarita in, and it just hits you. This isn't paradise. It's more like a prison.
I love that example. It really makes you rethink,
Yeah.
Winding down in retirement. Maybe it's more about shifting our focus towards meaningful challenges even as we age.
Absolutely. And he talks about how humans are wired for action, for purpose. He has this term called anti-fragile. We actually need stress to grow.
Oh, that's a good one. It's true, though. I mean, a plant that wilts at the slightest breeze, it's not strong.
Exactly, yeah. We need a bit of a challenge.
So true. And it makes you think, what are we really seeking then? When we dream of those golden years, what is it that we're after?
The million-dollar question. Peterson says it's about finding a worthwhile burden, something that challenges you.
Yeah, pushes you, makes you grow.
Right. Finding a purpose that brings lasting satisfaction.
And he connects this back to our social nature. As humans, being useful to others.
It's fundamental. We want to contribute.
He even says that the world is a lesser place if you don't share your unique talents and abilities.
Oh, I love that. It makes you think about what you bring to the table, all the gifts you have, the skills, perspective.
Yeah, it's a powerful message. Holding back, playing it safe, it's like you're doing yourself and the world a disservice.
It's true.
So we've established that true relaxation is not about escaping responsibilities. So where do we go from there? What do we do?
Well, Peterson suggests that it's about finding those opportunities to step up, to leave your mark.
So instead of aiming for a life without challenges, we should actively look for them, the things that push us and help us grow.
Yeah, exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot where your purpose and challenge intersect.
Okay, so that brings us to this other cool idea that Peterson talks about, the ripple effect of personal improvement. He uses this analogy of a butterfly effect. Even a tiny little action can have massive unintended consequences.
That's what's so fascinating. This interconnectedness we all share, our actions impacting others, our families, our friends, our communities, even the world at large.
It's about dropping a pebble into a pond, just watching those ripples spread out.
It really makes you think about those daily choices, doesn't it? Those little things.
Yeah, and the amazing thing is that those small acts of self-improvement can have a big impact too. It's not always about those dramatic changes.
It's those daily choices that matter.
He has this really thought-provoking quote. When you do something that you should do, it's better than you think. And when you do something you shouldn't do, it's worse than you think. I love that one.
I know. It really sticks with you.
Yeah, it really makes you realize, the weight of your actions, right? Every choice, every little step.
The call to action, be intentional with your choices.
Yeah, so much bigger than just ourselves.
We are all part of this web of life.
Every action, however small, matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about the ripple effect and all, but Peterson also emphasizes these things called motifs. Remember that margarita on the beach thing we talked about? That's what he sees as the exception. But the things that really define our lives, those recurring patterns, those routines, how we handle those everyday interactions.
It's about recognizing that the way you greet your loved ones in the morning, the way you approach work, even little things like doing the dishes, they all create the tapestry of your life.
Right. It's like all those little habits, they're like the building blocks.
Exactly. And he uses this really great example of putting a child to bed each night. Think about those interactions, where you might get frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
He says, imagine if you shifted those interactions, even a little bit, towards patience and connection. Over time, That changes the whole experience for both of you.
It's so true. It's like those small, repeated actions, they have a huge effect.
Absolutely. And it makes you think, am I creating the interactions I want to have? Am I contributing to the life I want to live?
That's powerful. It's not just about the big decisions then. It's about bringing intention to those little moments too.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that the mundane is not something to just endure. It's a chance to practice those values.
I love that. And it's funny because we often miss those opportunities, right? Because we're so focused on the big picture.
And that's the key. It's those small, consistent choices, day in and day out. They shape who you are, the trajectory of your life.
You know, it reminds me of that quote, how you do anything is how you do everything.
It's true.
Yeah. It's like those little things, they show what we really value.
And the best part is, it means we can choose to do those little things with more intention.
More mindfulness.
Right. Be more present and engaged.
It's like we're active participants, not just passive observers.
Exactly.
And each action, each choice, it's all an opportunity
To create something meaningful. That brings us to another point, though. Attention. In today's world, it's so easy to get distracted.
Oh, yeah, totally. Information overload everywhere you turn.
It's like we're constantly overwhelmed.
It's hard to just be present, you know?
But Peterson argues that attention, it's one of the most valuable things we have. It's how we understand the world, connect with people, create meaning.
Okay, so how do we do that then? How do we
Well-
cultivate that attention when there's so much pulling us in different directions?
Well, he suggests a few things, like mindfulness meditation, even just a few minutes a day, to sit and breathe, notice what's happening in your body.
Like hitting a reset button.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the easier it is to bring that attention to everyday life. You start to notice things you missed before,
You're more aware.
of your thoughts, your feelings, everything around you.
It's like you wake up to the ordinary.
Right. Appreciate the simple things.
Find joy in the mundane.
Exactly. And that changes everything. You approach things with a whole new purpose.
It's amazing training yourself to be present, savoring those little moments.
Finding the extraordinary in the ordinary.
And as you do that, it goes beyond just yourself, too, right?
You start to notice others more. Their needs, their joys, their struggles.
It's like you're tuning into a bigger picture.
You're more sensitive to how we all impact each other.
And that's when the real magic happens.
Right. Bringing intention, mindfulness, a genuine desire to connect.
You create something special.
It's about recognizing that a meaningful life, it's not about some grand gesture.
It's about those little things we do each day.
Embracing the mundane, not as something to get through, but as a chance to practice your values, to express yourself, make an impact.
It's like the power to create a good life. It's right there in front of us.
It's in the ordinary, the quiet moments, the little kindnesses.
Those everyday things that when you really pay attention, they can be extraordinary.
Exactly. It's like we're all artists, and those everyday moments, that's our canvas,
We have the power to make something beautiful.
something that matters.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the last part of our deep dive, where we'll talk about how to actually put all of this into practice, how to create a life that's fulfilling even in the midst of the mundane.
It's funny, you know, listening back to Peterson, I'm starting to think about all those times I've dismissed something as just routine or no big deal. And like now I see it totally differently.
Yeah, it really is a whole new way of looking at things.
It's like I miss the forest for the trees.
Totally.
It's kind of empowering in a way, though, right? Because
Yeah.
it's saying we're not just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Like we're actually the ones behind the wheel. We get to choose how we approach every single moment, every interaction, every task.
It is empowering. Every choice we make, even the tiny ones, they matter.
And all those choices, they add up to something much bigger.
Right. Exactly. Like we're creating this constant ripple effect. It affects us. It affects everyone around us.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, it really is. It makes you stop and think about how you're acting, you know?
Yeah.
Like how we treat that barista, how we respond to a frustrating email, how we talk to our family when we're stressed out.
That's true.
Right? All those little things, they really do make a difference.
And the best part is we have the power to change those interactions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can choose to be kinder, more patient. And when we do that, we create a better experience for ourselves and everyone else around us.
It's a win-win. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into the power of the mundane, I want to leave you with a question. What's one tiny positive change you can make in your daily routine today that could have a ripple effect on your life? It doesn't have to be big. It could be making your bed, taking 5 minutes to meditate, or just telling someone you're grateful for them.
It's all about being your best self in those everyday moments.
And remember, those moments aren't just fillers between the big stuff. They're what life is all about.
Exact.
Finding the joy, the purpose in the everyday.
Embrace the mundane.
Yeah.
Watch those little actions create something amazing.
Yeah, and don't forget, even the smallest ripple can create a huge wave. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. And remember, the power to create a life that's truly meaningful, it's right there inside of you.
Thanks for joining us on Conversations for a Better You. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more content to help you grow. See you next time.